Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news updates.
The Joshua Day Fiancé franchise has built its global success on love stories that unfold under pressure. But what keeps audiences truly hooked is the unpredictability of human behavior when cameras are rolling. For many cast members, the show becomes an opportunity to gain sympathy, build a fan base, and even launch long-term careers in reality television. But for others, a single episode is all it takes to destroy everything. One argument, one revealing moment, or one cruel decision can permanently reshape how millions of viewers see them. In the world of 90 Day Fiancé, public image is fragile, and once it shatters, it rarely recovers. Reality television does not forgive easily. While editing can influence perception, it cannot invent actions or emotions that were never there. When a cast member crosses an invisible moral line, audiences feel it instantly. Social media reacts in real time. Reputations collapse overnight, and the internet never forgets. The following stories are not about slow declines or long-term villain arcs. They are about single episodes where the mask slipped and the damage was irreversible. One of the most well-known examples is Big Ed Brown. When Ed was first introduced, he appeared awkward, insecure, and oddly endearing. Viewers sympathized with his physical condition and his fear of rejection. But everything changed during one devastating episode in the Philippines with Rose Vega. In that episode, Ed repeatedly humiliated Rose, criticized her home, questioned her hygiene, and demanded medical tests from her while refusing to show the same respect in return. The tone of the episode was uncomfortable, not dramatic. Fans didn't feel entertained, they felt disturbed. That single episode transformed Big Ed from a misunderstood underdog into one of the most criticized men in franchise history. No matter how many spin-offs followed, his public image never truly recovered. Another cast member whose reputation collapsed instantly was Lita Margarita. While tension existed from the beginning, one episode sealed her fate with viewers. In a shocking confrontation, Lita demanded that Eric Rosenbrook choose between her and his own daughter. Her lack of empathy, combined with aggressive language and emotional manipulation, horrified audiences. This wasn't just relationship drama, it was a moral breaking point. That single episode turned Lita into one of the most disliked figures the show has ever featured, and years later, fans still reference it as a line that should never have been crossed. Angela Deem's reputation also took a major hit due to one explosive episode. While she had always been loud and confrontational, viewers initially accepted her as reality TV chaos. But one episode involving her treatment of Michael Ilasanmi crossed from entertainment into discomfort. Her screaming threats and controlling behavior shocked audiences, particularly as it played out publicly and aggressively. That episode sparked serious conversations about emotional abuse and accountability, and from that moment on, Angela was no longer just controversial, she became polarizing in the worst way, and Fisa Arkipchenko experienced one of the fastest image collapses in franchise history. During a single episode with Jorge Nava, her physical outburst and blunt admission that she was only interested in money stunned viewers. While some later defended her honesty, that episode alone cemented her image at the time as materialistic and aggressive. For many fans, that moment defined her entire storyline. Regardless of what followed, Mark Shoemaker's downfall came quietly but powerfully. In one deeply uncomfortable episode, his controlling behavior toward Nikki became impossible to ignore. His lectures about obedience, his dismissal of her independence, and the clear power imbalance between them alarmed viewers. That episode didn't spark outrage, it sparked unease, which can be even more damaging. Once fans felt unsettled rather than entertained, Mark's reputation was effectively destroyed. Jeffrey Paschal's public image collapsed after a single episode revealed the intensity of his temper and manipulative tendencies. While early episodes painted him as mysterious, that perception vanished once viewers saw his explosive reactions and emotional control tactics. When real-life legal issues surfaced soon after, that episode became the point of no return. Audience trust vanished completely. Baby girl Lisa Ham ruined her reputation faster than almost anyone. In one episode, her verbal abuse, racial insensitivity, and aggressive jealousy toward Usman Umar alienated viewers entirely. The backlash was immediate and severe, and her association with the franchise effectively ended. That episode didn't just hurt her image, it erased it. Stephen Johnston's collapse came through hypocrisy. One episode exposed how he imposed strict moral standards on Alina, while secretly violating those same values himself. Fans felt deceived, not entertained. That moment shattered any credibility he had built, and his reputation never recovered. Paul Stale's reputation also crumbled during a single episode that highlighted his instability and extreme emotional reactions. His behavior frightened viewers rather than gaining sympathy. Once concern replaced empathy, public perception shifted permanently. What all these moments share is clarity. A single episode can expose patterns viewers can no longer ignore. Once that happens, the audience doesn't forget and it doesn't forgive. Easy. As the franchise continued to grow, viewers became more experienced at recognizing behavioral patterns. By the time newer seasons aired, fans no longer needed multiple episodes to decide how they felt about someone. One revealing moment was enough. In many cases, cast members unknowingly walked into an episode believing they were justified, only to leave it with their public image permanently damaged. Mike Burke's downfall is a perfect example of how quickly perception can shift. For most of his season, Mike was portrayed as socially awkward but kind-hearted. Viewers sympathized with his lack of confidence and rooted for him to find love with Ximena Morales. That goodwill evaporated in a single episode after Ximena ended the relationship. Instead of respecting her decision, Mike refused to leave her. Holmes sulked aggressively and attempted to emotionally guilt her into staying with him. The episode was deeply uncomfortable, not because of shouting, but because of entitlement. Viewers realized that his kindness had conditions, and once those conditions were rejected, resentment surfaced. That episode destroyed the nice guy narrative completely. Ella Johnson also experienced a swift reputation collapse. Early on, viewers empathized with her loneliness and insecurity. But one episode changed everything when she admitted to cheating on Johnny Chow while he was still unable to travel. What truly angered fans was not just the betrayal, but her framing of herself as the victim afterward. The lack of accountability was glaring. In that moment, sympathy turned into frustration, and her public image shifted from vulnerable to self-centered, almost instantly. Kimberly Menzies crossed a critical line during an episode that highlighted her pressure on Usman Omar for intimacy. While earlier episodes portrayed her as eager and emotionally invested, this episode revealed a sense of entitlement that viewers found disturbing. Her repeated emotional breakdowns and insistence that Usman owed her affection reframed the entire relationship dynamic. That single episode sparked widespread backlash and permanently altered how audiences perceived her intentions. Jason Hitch's reputation collapsed during an episode that exposed his controlling tendencies toward Cassia. His dismissive tone, impatience, and lack of emotional awareness were no longer subtle. The episode painted a clear picture of imbalance and resentment, and viewers responded with concern rather than curiosity. Once again, one episode was enough to erase any remaining goodwill. Gibri Bell initially appeared quirky, artistic, and misunderstood, but a pivotal episode revealed deeper issues beneath the surface. His refusal to accept responsibility for his financial instability, combined with his habit of deflecting blame onto friends and family, frustrated viewers. What sealed his fate was the arrogance with which he dismissed criticism. That episode marked the turning point where fans stopped rooting for him and started questioning his maturity. Ariella Weinberg's public image took a significant hit during an episode where her controlling behavior toward Binyam Schreiber became undeniable. Her emotional volatility and tendency to weaponize anxiety in arguments alienated many viewers. While some fans defended her, the damage was already done. That episode changed the dominant narrative surrounding her. Character Andrew Kenton's reputation collapsed almost silently. In one episode, while Amira Lalisa was visibly distressed and isolated, Andrew appeared detached and passive-aggressive. His lack of empathy spoke louder than any argument could. That episode ended any remaining support viewers had for him and redefined his storyline entirely. What makes these moments so powerful is how final they feel. A reputation doesn't erode slowly on 90 Day Fiancé, it snaps. Once the audience sees behavior they interpret as manipulative, abusive, or entitled, there is no reset button. Editing may frame scenes, but it cannot fabricate patterns. Viewers are reacting not to one mistake, but to what that mistake reveals. Social media accelerates this collapse dramatically. Clips circulate within minutes. Context disappears. Emotions intensify. Once a cast member becomes a symbol of toxic behavior, every future appearance is filtered through that lens. Apologies rarely help because viewers are reacting to authenticity, not explanation. Some cast members attempt redemption through spin-offs or interviews. But redemption is difficult when the defining memory is a single uncomfortable episode. Fans remember how they felt watching it, the tension, the anger, the disappointment. Those emotional reactions linger far longer than any clarification at its core. 90 Day Fiancés is not just about relationships, it is about accountability under a microscope. The cameras capture stress, insecurity, entitlement, and fear. And sometimes, they capture truths that cast members never intended to reveal. When those truths surface in a single episode, the consequences are permanent. The stars who ruined their public image in one episode did not lose audience support because they were imperfect. They lost it because viewers recognized patterns that crossed emotional and moral boundaries. In a franchise built on vulnerability, the audience expects honesty, respect, and growth. When those expectations are violated, fame turns into infamy overnight. As new seasons continue to air, fans watch closely, knowing that the next reputation collapse could happen at any moment. One episode, one decision, one revealing moment. In the world of 90 Day Fiancé, that is all it takes to ruin a public image forever. What many viewers don't realize is that these reputation-destroying episodes often reveal more about power than personality. Power dynamics sit at the core of many 90 Day Fiancé relationships, especially when one partner controls money, immigration status, housing, or emotional security. When that power is abused, even briefly, audiences react strongly because they recognize injustice instantly. This is exactly what happened with Colt Johnson. Colt's image didn't crumble slowly. It collapsed during one chilling episode where his manipulative behavior toward Larissa dos Santos Lima became undeniable. His calm tone, paired with emotional provocation, created a disturbing imbalance that viewers could no longer ignore. The episode forced audiences to reevaluate every previous interaction, and Colt's reputation shifted from awkward mama's boy to emotionally manipulative almost overnight. Danielle Mullins experienced a different kind of reputation damage. While many sympathized with her vulnerability early on, one episode exposed her relentless pressure on Mohamed Jabali. Despite clear emotional boundaries, viewers began to feel discomfort instead of compassion. That episode marked the moment when sympathy turned into frustration, and her public image never fully recovered. Nicole Nafziger also crossed a critical line in a single episode involving Azan Tafu. Her refusal to respect his boundaries, combined with denial of reality and emotional dependency, frustrated viewers deeply. The episode made it clear that love alone could not excuse entitlement or emotional pressure. That realization permanently altered how fans viewed her storyline. Pedro Jimeno's reputation took a major hit during an episode that showcased explosive family conflict and emotional detachment. Viewers who once rooted for him began questioning his priorities and loyalty. The episode didn't make him a villain, but it damaged trust, and in reality TV, trust is everything. Even minor moments can be devastating. A single dismissive comment, a smirk during an argument, or a refusal to apologize can outweigh seasons of goodwill. On Juicer Day, Fiancé, the audience watches not just what cast members do, but how they react when confronted. Defensiveness, denial, or mockery often causes more damage than the original mistake. What separates a forgivable episode from a reputation? One is accountability. Viewers are surprisingly forgiving when cast members show genuine self-awareness. But when someone doubles down, deflects blame, or minimizes harm, public opinion hardens instantly. That hardening is what destroys careers, not just storylines. Another critical factor is consistency. When one episode confirms what viewers subconsciously suspected all along, the reaction is explosive. It feels like a truth finally exposed. That emotional payoff is powerful and unforgiving. Once a public image is ruined, recovery becomes nearly impossible. Even if a cast member behaves better in later episodes, viewers remain skeptical. Every action is interpreted through the lens of that defining moment. Growth goes unnoticed. Apologies feel strategic. Redemption feels scripted. That's why so many 90 Day Fiancé stars struggle to escape their worst episode. It follows them into reunions, interviews, and social media. Fans don't remember seasons, they remember moments. And one moment is all it takes. The franchise continues to attract new cast members, many of whom believe they can control their narrative. But Juicer Day Fiancé has proven time and again that authenticity cannot be managed under pressure. Cameras don't create behavior, they reveal it in the end. The stars who ruined their public image in one episode didn't fail because they were imperfect. They failed because, in one critical moment, they showed the audience exactly who they weren't. The audience believed them. That is the true risk of reality television. Not exposure, not criticism, but permanence. One episode, one decision, one irreversible impression,